Picture this. A man is screaming in your face, veins bulging, voice cracking. He's throwing everything he has at you, insults, threats, contempt. He needs you to react. He needs the validation of your anger, your fear, your defense. And you do nothing. You don't blink. You don't flinch. You just watch him like a scientist studying a specimen. Something shifts in that moment. His rage turns to confusion. Then that confusion turns to terror, because he realizes he can't touch you. He can't read you. He can't control you. This creates a psychological glitch in the human operating system. The fake world tells you that expressing yourself is strength, that honesty is power, that being understood matters. The real world operates on leverage, information asymmetry, strategic ambiguity. The man who controls his reactions controls the room. Most men are slaves to their reactions. Someone insults them, they defend. Someone compliments them, they smile. They're puppets. Their strings are pulled by bosses, wives, traffic, strangers on the internet. But there's a second type of man, a man who has cut the strings, a man who has mastered the art of being unknowable. Today, we're performing an autopsy on the human ego. I'm going to show you the Machiavellian skill that breaks other men without you ever throwing a punch. Drop a comment. What's one moment where someone tried to provoke you and you stayed silent? What happened next? Principle 1. The feedback loop trap. Society taught you that communication is the foundation of relationships. Express your feelings. Let people know where they stand. Be an open book. Every reaction you give is intelligence. You surrender. Here's what most men don't understand. Humans are wired for feedback loops. For thousands of years, survival depended on being understood by the tribe. Get misunderstood. Get cast out. Get cast out. Die. So we evolved a desperate need for validation. We need to know where we stand. When two people interact, there's a silent contract. I show emotion, you show emotion back. I attack, you defend. I joke, you laugh. It's a ping-pong match of energy. It's comfortable. It makes the future predictable. In Renaissance Florence, Machiavelli watched princes rise and fall. The reactive ones, the princes who displayed their anger, their fear, their joy, were easy to kill because they were predictable. If you know what a man loves, you use it as bait. If you know what he hates, you use it as a trap. But the princes who wore masks, the ones who mastered what Machiavelli called simulation and dissimulation, they survived. They terrified the courts because you cannot trap a ghost. Your boss criticizes your project in a meeting. Immediately, your heart rate spikes. You start talking. Well, actually, the reason I did it that way was... Stop. What are you doing? You're handing him your cards. You're showing him he has the power to disturb your peace. You're begging to be understood. The Machiavellian response? You pause. You nod slowly. Maybe you write something in your notepad. Then you continue as if he never spoke. What just happened? Your boss threw a grenade and it vanished into a void. Now he's panicking. Did you not hear? Did you not care? Are you so far above him that his insult didn't register? Is he about to get fired? You've terrified him without lifting a finger. Stop explaining yourself. A powerful man doesn't need to be understood. He only needs to be effective. When you explain, you occupy the position of weakness. When you're silent, you occupy the position of judgment. Subscribe if you're ready to cut the strings. Most men won't. They prefer to stay predictable. Principle 2. The black box strategy. You believe authenticity means showing your process. letting people see how you think, being transparent about your emotions. In systems theory, there's a concept called a black box, a system where you can see the input and output, but not the internal processing. You need to become a black box. Right now, most men are glass boxes. Everyone can see the gears turning. Someone disrespects you. Boom. We watch the gear of ego turn the gear of anger, which turns the gear of shouting. Mechanical. Pathetic. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must be variable. He must not be tied to one mode of operation. If you always get angry when insulted, I can control you. I just insult you when I want you irrational. If you always seek approval, I withhold praise until you comply. But if your reaction is independent of my action, I'm powerless. A colleague tries to undermine you. Sarcastic comment about your work. The glass box man gets defensive, shoots back a retort, looks around for validation. He just lost. The black box man hears the insult. Input received. Then nothing. He pauses. Maybe he smiles slightly. Maybe he continues speaking as if nothing happened. The colleague is now in freefall. Did he hear me? Does he not care? Is he documenting this for HR? Create a gap between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl, who survived Auschwitz, found his freedom in that gap. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. Most men have no space. They're fused with their environment. Widen the gap. When you delay your reaction, you signal dominance. Principle 3. The speed of fear. In a fast-paced world, you believe you need to respond quickly. Show you're engaged. Prove you're sharp. Speed is a symptom of fear. Have you noticed that high-status individuals move slower? They speak slower. They blink slower. Low-status individuals are twitchy. They scan rooms. They speak fast because they fear interruption. They vibrate with anxiety. Machiavelli knew that appearance is reality in the game of power. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. If you appear unshakable, you are unshakable in their eyes, and that belief makes them hesitate to cross you. You're in a negotiation. The other side names a price. If you answer immediately, you seem eager, desperate. If you wait 3, 4, 5 seconds of total silence, you make them question the value of their own offer. They might lower it just to break the silence. Your silence does the work. It's a heavy, invisible hand pressing down on their chest. Slow down. Physically slow your movements. Slow your speech. Let the tension build. Speed says, I'm running out of time. Slowness says, I own the time. Repeat this. My silence is my power. My stillness is my statement. If this is rewiring how you see power, hit that like button. Principle 4. Containment vs. Suppression. You worry this sounds like emotional suppression, that you'll explode, that it's unhealthy. There's a difference between suppression and containment. Suppression is shoving the emotion down and denying it exists. That's fear-based. Containment? Think of a nuclear reactor. Inside the core, immense heat, radiation, chaos. But the walls are thick concrete and lead. On the outside, cool, silent, structured. You feel everything, the disrespect, the betrayal, the burning desire for revenge. But you build a citadel around your mind. The walls are made of logic, strategy, and purpose. Machiavelli didn't say, never be angry. He said, use everything as a tool. Sometimes a controlled burst of rage is useful. If a subordinate is getting lazy, calculated anger can wake them up. But the key word is controlled. You're not angry because you lost control. You're performing anger because it's the correct tactical move. You're the puppet master of your own soul. Your friend flakes on you for the third time. You feel the anger rising. The suppressive man ignores it, smiles, says no worries, and builds resentment. The reactive man explodes. You're always doing this. The Machiavellian, he feels the anger, acknowledges it internally, then asks, does expressing this serve my goal? If the friendship is valuable and the flaking is fixable, he addresses it once, calmly, with a boundary. Hey, I need reliability. If you commit, I need you to follow through. Otherwise, let's keep it casual. One statement. No emotion. Pure information. Build the citadel. When an emotion tries to escape through your mouth, the guard at the gate asks, does this serve my ultimate goal? If no, it stays inside. Gets processed, gets used as fuel. If yes, you release it with surgical precision. Principle 5. Strategic absence. You believe staying engaged shows you care. Being available shows reliability. Responding shows respect. Familiarity breeds contempt. If you're always available, you're cheap. Machiavelli understood that mystery creates power. The skill that terrifies men is the ability to walk away without explanation. The human brain remembers unfinished tasks better than finished ones. An unresolved conflict is an open loop. The brain spins trying to close it. By denying closure, you occupy real estate in their mind, rent-free. You're negotiating a business deal. The terms aren't right. The amateur argues, tries to convince, counter-offers endlessly. The Machiavellian, he packs his bag, shakes hands, says, I don't think this is for us, and leaves. He doesn't counter. He leaves the void. The other party is left holding the bag. They have to chase. Wait, come back. Maybe we can adjust the rate. Now you've won. Whoever chases loses power. Be comfortable with the possibility of loss. You have to be willing to lose the deal, the relationship, the validation. Machiavelli wrote, a wise prince should rely on what is in his own control, not on what is in the control of others. If you cannot walk away, you are a slave. I desire, but I do not need. My mission is greater than any single connection. Principle 6. Ego death. You want to be right. You want the last word. You want recognition. Being right is a consolation prize for losers. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be effective? Often, you can't be both. Machiavelli separated ethics from politics not because he was evil, but because he was clinical. He looked at human interaction like a mechanic looks at an engine. If the engine is broken, you don't pray to it. You don't get angry at it. You fix it. There's a story of a general challenged to a duel by a young soldier. The soldier spat in his face. The general wiped the spit away and walked off. His men were ashamed. General, why didn't you kill him? You're a coward. The general said, if a donkey kicks you, do you kick it back? He had nothing to prove. His ego was dead. Only his strategy remained. Kill your ego. Be willing to look like a fool to win the war. When someone disrespects you, your blood boils. It feels like a threat to your existence. But it's only a threat to your image. If you're secure in your reality, an insult is just noise. Wind. It only hurts if you secretly believe it might be true. My results speak. My silence protects. My ego serves no one. Here's how you implement this starting today. 1. Morning ritual, the citadel visualization. Before you open your phone, sit for 60 seconds. Visualize your mind as a fortress. See the walls, thick, concrete, impenetrable. Whisper, today, nothing enters without my permission. 2. In-the-moment script. When provoked, use this internal mantra: input received. Processing. Choose the response. That's it. 3 steps. Creates the gap. 3. The 7-day silence experiment. For 1 week, reduce your talking by 30%. In meetings, wait 3 seconds before responding to any question. Watch what happens. Watch people lean in. Watch them start assuming you're the smart one. 4. Alliance audit. List every person in your life. Ask, does this person respect my silence, or do they demand constant reaction? The ones who demand constant reaction are energy vampires. Ration your availability. 5. Evening review. At night, replay one interaction where you stayed unreadable. Journal. What did I feel? What did I not say? What power did I gain? Track your victories. The ego needs evidence that this works. Here's the truth. Machiavelli understood that most men never will. The world doesn't reward the loudest man. It rewards the immovable man. When you stop reacting to the world, you gain the power to create it. You set the tempo. You set the tone. You become the eye of the storm. Chaos swirls. People scream. Markets crash. Relationships end. And you stand in the center, calm. This skill, Machiavellian silence, strategic containment, is the prerequisite for all greatness. You cannot lead others if you cannot rule yourself. You cannot build an empire if a single rude comment destroys your focus. Tomorrow, someone will test you. The traffic, a barista, a friend. Your old wiring will want to snap. Catch it. Pause. Widen the gap. Look at the anger and say, "Hello, old friend." Then choose silence. Watch their confusion. Watch their discomfort. Feel the surge of power that comes from knowing you hold the leash. Most men are dragged by the beast. You walk it. Subscribe if you're ready to cut the strings. Next video, we're going deeper into Machiavellian manipulation tactics, how to use strategic kindness as a weapon. Drop a comment. What's one change you're making today to become unreadable? The skill that terrifies other men is simply this: the absolute refusal to be moved by anything other than your own will. That is the ultimate freedom.